Okay, thank you so much for being here, everybody. We've got our final session of the day. Yeah, really appreciate everyone being here. Got a nice kind of flow of folks coming and going. My name's Saunders, been the host today, and it's been a little bit of a variety show of different presentations. So I'll send out the recordings afterward. We'll post them to our YouTube channel. But it's always so great when you get to meet people in the person, in the flesh. We've got a world record holder, and it was funny. I think I generally said it's like 4 hours in an ice bath. And Vivian's like, oh no, you better say 4 hours and 5 minutes.
Otherwise, I would not gone to the world record.
Getting through this last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The toughest, I hear.
Yeah, it was definitely, I felt like I was in a swing. Like my head was going like this sideways. I was like, oh, that was like my last push. After.
Gosh, I mean, most people can't even handle 4 seconds. 4 minutes for the hardcores. 4 hours, unbelievable. So, anyways, that'll be the kind of the theme of your talk. Achieving the extraordinary. Yeah, this would be great. So, did you want to start PowerPoint right away? Or?
Yeah, can maybe like put the first one and after into.
Sure. Okay, so let's put this into full mode. Let's go play, and then we'll bring that up. And great. So since Andre's kind of got the final time slot, he can take as many hours as you want.
4 hours. 4 hours and 6 minutes.
Yeah,
4 hours 6 minutes.
Last year. So all right, we'll take it away.
Thank you so much, Malcolm.
Yeah,
thank you to the Light Cellar for coming here to share my message. So the aim of this speech is called Achieve the Extraordinary. Of course, I won't, first of all, I won't talk only about me. I'm going to talk about whoever gave me inspiration, which was my father and my maker. Then yes, so definitely there was, I did a lot of things. When I mean achieve the extraordinary, what I mean by this is like you can achieve a lot of things. And subjects, mindset coaching that I developed, which is called Chase Your Worthy Cause, meaning that you're chasing something that is good, something which is going to contribute to the good development of the planet on which we live, which can be either tangible or intangible. Some person here are really good to being artists. Some people are really good here to be actors. A lot of actors here, right here. I won't bother you with this. No acting today. And of course, more talents, like you're doing, Malcolm, for example, here with developing like the holistic approach. Not to spit on the pharmaceutical industry, but definitely helping. Anyway, lots of different talents, right? That's really important. And as long as you're going to put this to the service of others as well, you're going to inspire others to do other things as long as it's positive, right? And then obviously when you're into that time of chasing worthy cause, at the short term, it's going to be hard and difficult. Let's be obvious, right? Not to smile and everything like this, right? But it's really, really hard. But what's going to keep you on going with this is definitely the cause that you have in your mind, right? It's going to make you go through hard times. But what's beauty about it, when you're going to get toward at the long term, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, I did it, So that's just beautiful, It's a balance of yin and yang. That's what it is. So I did a few things in my life. Like I said, I'm going to talk a bit about my father. So first point, my father experience, great mentor for me. Second point, me, when I was a little pump. Because that was, believe me. Then then a shift of what happened, what made me change. And as well, then I'm going to talk a lot about the record that I did. But first of all, like to talk about what I did, not to show off. Right now, if you put my name on the internet, Andre Belibi, you can see that I made like a few things that have close 10 million viewers over Instagram, Facebook and things. Like right now, there's a really good proof to show that this is real, this is legit. This is real lifetime stories, real struggles, real cry, real pain, and real errors that I learned from it, right? And so, yes. So I did a few things. I mean, before I talk to you about my father, which I'm going to elaborate more. The first things that I did, the first big things that I did is that I ran from France, from Cherbourg, to Africa. And my friend here was there actually for the beginning when I did 3,000 kilometers from France to Africa. So there's definitely Africa. Africa is a big place, Northern Africa, right? I didn't go to Cameroon when I originally come from, but it's still a big place. So I did 77 marathons. I did that for the refugees as well for everyone, refugees, because my father came from France, from Africa to France. Also, I ran from across the States, from New York City to Los Angeles. So I did 111 marathons, starting the 1st of November 2019, and I arrived in Brooklyn, New York, and I arrived in LA 7th of March 2020 before COVID hit. So it's good that I did that race, and of course going through like winter because I wanted to pay tribute to the refugees, still to my father, but as well to affiliated with USA for UNHCR. So I went through Wyoming even. In Wyoming, it's not like it's lower, but Wyoming is almost 7,000 feet elevation. It's really cold. So it was minus 30, minus 40 degrees. Sometimes you can't even run like past like 10 feet because there's too much wind, right? And also I did other things. Then like what we'll talk a bit more. Okay. Yeah. That talk a bit more today too. The world record that I did. So it's called, I did this world record ice. It was called the full body ice for the longest time. Full body contact with ice. That would be that with Guinness. We're still submitting the evidence, but no matter what, we already have like it's approved, and also been officially recognized by the talent record book, which is based in India. So I'm very happy somehow, somewhere, this record is registered. Yeah, so that stayed 4 hours in 5 minutes. Me too, I'm like, was I alive? Or, 4 hours and 4 minutes in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, about 34 hours, 5 minutes and 20 seconds in 1 ton of ice. The first one was really hard. But anyway, this is what it is. Now I'm going to go back to my father. I don't want to spread out too much. So my father is born in Cameroon, in a village called Doum, where right now he's resting in peace right now. In 1947, so 20th of April, 1947. And in all, sorry, the slide? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you see I'm getting up. Yeah, so as you can see right now, you can see my father here when he was young, So yeah, that was before he was in the military. So he left Cameroon in the 70s, so in 71. So he didn't have a lot of money in his pocket, so he left Cameroon to migrate to France because he did this he had a dream, definitely why he did this, to help his family back home. That's when he was a little older, but that's where like my father come from, and that's where I come from too. So yes, so he only left with the equivalence of like 50 Canadian dollars. So it took him 4 years to walk from Cameroon all the way across to Mauritania. I don't have a map here of Africa, but if you can see Africa, can you see Africa a bit what it is? You see you have Africa here, you have the corner. So you have it's called the Gulf of Guinea. So you have Cameroon, you have Nigeria. So literally what he did, he took a train from Yaoundé, the capital, to Douala, the economic capital political capital in Cameroon, vice versa, whatever. Then afterwards, he had a bit of walking. He did a bit of walking, a bit of maybe he ran a bit, and he used to be a professional soccer player. So he plays for a team in Nigeria back in the 70s. But unfortunately, he damaged his ankle, so he couldn't play that much. So then after he worked through like Mali, Nigeria, a lot of places there, he met a lot of adversities. He had to sleep in field with cassava, cassava field. So it was definitely really, really, really hard. But he had always had his dream in mind, his worthy cause that I call kept on going forward, pushing him through adversity. Because obviously back then he could have been like, you know what, it's too much, it's too hard, and I'm gonna go back home. And there's nothing wrong with that, it's okay. There's no one who has more power, I'm stronger with the mind than others. It's just that it is. But his purpose, his mission definitely was to go to Europe, right? To go to France, and yes. So more as he was going there, was going also through lion territories. So near in Senegal, like that one I was running across the States, I was scared of coyotes and cougars, but it's lions.
It was like freaking 500-pound cats, you know what I mean? So you be careful and stuff. And also more things that happen on the way there is that one day he felt really sick. He caught jaundice. So like he was in the Sahel desert. So some places there, there's a lot of tribes. It's called les Peuls. So it's tribes, work with the cows and things. And literally, no hospital. So they had like traditional medicine there. They told me to my father, okay, you're either gonna die or you're gonna do what we're gonna tell you to do. So literally, they told him you need to eat raw guts of a sheep with butter because it's like it's gonna help you because there's some kind of enzyme in so it's gonna work with the B12 and the bacteria or whatever in your big intestine or whatever. It wasn't comfortable, but it did it. You know what I mean? So that was definitely something. Then afterwards, more on his journey, so he kept on going, kept on persevering. From time here and there, we received letters from his family back home and stuff. And he worked a bit there too on the way too. Unfortunately, at times, there were people who stole his stuff. So literally, it's so starting from zero. So what's gonna do? But the drive, the faith, what like really drove him, helped him to push forward. So definitely right now was getting to the last part of the main part of the main stretch of the trip when you go to Mauritania. So Mauritania is a country, so it's like on the west side of the Sahara Desert. So you're gonna have Morocco, you're gonna have in the south Senegal and Mauritania. So he got there, he met a lot of friends on the way there, and after one of his friends, he was like, he didn't know exactly in his heart I was going to go to Europe. But he was like, I gotta try something no matter what. So what he did, it was I believe like a Friday, or I don't remember exactly when, but it was like nighttime, 7 p.m. He's on the beach there in Mauritania, and he saw those big, I think a super tanker or container ship of the coast, and literally he looked at his friend and he's like, buddy, we're gonna have to swim to the boat, and his friend is like, what? So definitely his friend was like, sorry, Michel, because my father's name was Michel, Michael, or whatever you want to call it. But he was like, I'm not gonna do this. This is too scary. And I understand there's no judgment too, because there's not certainty whatsoever, right? To go to that ship. What if they swim there and the ship left? Then you like 5-6 miles off the coast, you're like in the middle of the ocean, right? So what he did, his friend left, which he respected. So my father put his Bible, in a plastic bag. You don't know, in a plastic bag. Then after he starts swimming, everyone was close to 8 p.m. at night. He starts swimming. Then after on the way there, after a while the Bible like escape or whatever. So he's just on the bottom of the ocean. So he swam. Then he took him as he was swimming. He could feel the fishes nipping on him, on his legs. And believe me, in like that ocean, open water like this, you have a lot of sharks, a lot of stuff. It's a scary place. If you don't have a faith, or if you don't have willpower or worthy cause, you're gonna drown. You're gonna die. That just and unfortunately, that's what we see a lot, right? For migrants who try to have nothing to lose, who swim from Africa to Europe. So anyway, so we're swimming there. Then after, I think 5 hours later, it was so far in the ocean, it was really close to the big ship, right? Because you think it's close, but it was really far. So you have this big anchor, like the big anchor. So he sneaked on him through the anchor, and I tried to hide. And guess what? He got caught. So the crew came, right? And it was like, who are you? So they attached him, and the captain came with an axe. And yeah, he could even have chopped him up or killed him because, sorry, it's really scary. But it's reality because, we cared about him. He's just illegal immigrants from Africa, whatever, what difference does he make, So definitely, and you see the captain played with the axe and stuff like this, intimidation game and things. But after a while, he arrived to negotiate. Then after this, they let him go. But they tell you, you're gonna go back the same way you came. So you had to escalate, he has to escalate down, to descend back to the water. And it was kind of negotiating. I'd be like, please help me. But literally, then there was a crew member, thanks to that crew member on the ship, who threw him some kind of pneumatic tire, you know. So he swam, but he had to swim again another 6 hours again. Ow! Back to the shore at the dawn. So he didn't make it quite there. There was a bit of like a portable boat or something close to the shore. So he was just lying there with, imagine, like scratch all over and stuff, and laying down like this because you swam for 12 hours and you have your adrenaline level going up so much because this is be obvious, this is really hard. So they thought it was a dead body, you know, but after he saw he moved, so he let him go or whatever. Then he swam back to, you know, to the coast, you know, to the coast of the beach and everything, and went back to kind of like the place where it was going, where there were a lot of immigrants going there, trying to make it to Europe there, and they were like, "Oh man, we're so happy you make it, you know, thank you." They were happy, you know. But after 1 month later, he's like, "No, man, like I have to do another attempt. I have to keep on trying, right?" And they were like, "Come on, man, you know, so that you almost die out there, you know." So it was pretty hard, pretty scary. It was like, no, I know in my heart, I know that I can't do this. Of course, he knew that he could do this, but he's do this for a better cause, for a worthy cause, for his family, for his future family, something that he had in mind, right? And if it was meant to be, it was going to happen, right? So, and it did happen. So what happened then is like, okay, then after another friend of him came with him. So that time there was a port though. They stayed close to the port, and it was this big container ship. I think it was like, that time was a container ship or something. Then they sneak on the port. They only took like food for God knows how many days, you know, like they had a bit of food for like few cookies and few water. I like cookies. Maybe I know that's why where I like cookies from. I have a bit of sweet tooth here. So anyway, with his friend, they sneak into the security. Then they made it to the ship. So they made it to on the ship. You know, you have life raft, right? They went there and they literally lay there they found a place. I think his friend was another life raft. And he was laying there literally for like 8 days. Laying there for 8 days. After 3 days, the food ran out. Right? You only had like the food ran out after 3 days. Imagine this. You're in the middle of the ocean, and if you come out, then what do you think is gonna happen? If you come out, if you get caught, they can throw you overboard. And who's gonna talk about it? Nobody, right? So I'm sure right now mentally he didn't know how long it was gonna last and stuff, but he knew that the boat was going up north, it was getting a bit colder, even if it was in the ocean, right? Then after 3 days, no more food. Then after 8 days, you just drink water, and then you arrive in the port in Rotterdam in the Netherlands in February. You have a couple of black guys, you know, literally from Africa, coming to Rotterdam. And believe me, that was a bit before global warming. Oh, that's in the different opinion about that. But anyway, before like global warming, I mean, in the 74 in February, it was cold there. It wasn't cold like Canada, but still like -5, -10 degrees. And they were waiting that all the crew disembarked, right? So it was good. Then after they tried to sneak in and they got caught by a guard on there. But anyway, they was already in Europe, and before it wasn't hard like it is right now, you know, in Europe actually. And yeah, so it helped them, give them a bit of money. Then somehow, some way, you know, they make it to Belgium, and they never saw snow before, and they walk in. My father he made fun of his other friend, was from Congo, and he was like, haha, because he was in pain because of his toes, right? You know, when like the cold, you know. But a few hours later, my father was crying, and his friend was making fun of him because there's no snow in Cameroon, you know. So yeah, so afterwards, then they make it all the way to Paris, and my father went to Cameroonese embassy there in Paris at the time, and so far so good. You know, he met my mom in the disco, you know, later on, because it was a really good dancer. He has a big afro, good-looking man with like how do you call that? Les pantalons pas d'éléphant. Elephant belly bottoms, you know, in the 70s. Yeah. Yeah. It's like that. The time of like this, what's his name? Not Tom Cruise, John Travolta. The Saturday Night Fever. It was very good. Let me tell you. He won some trophies and stuff like that, you know? So really good stuff. Anyway, so afterwards, then my father met my mother in France in 77. He's okay? Yeah. Yeah. So then afterwards, he worked a bit abroad and everything in Libya. And so far, anyway, he made it to Cherbourg in Normandy. Then I had my brothers. My two brothers were born. I mean, one of my brothers, not my real brother, is my cousin, but my father adopted him when my real brother lived in Cameroon for a while. Then after my sister is born, then after Andre is born. So definitely, you know, like this year was the first part of first point, you know, of this presentation. Definitely talking about my father. I wanted to tell you about the details and everything because to realize that all of us here, you know what, all of us here who have struggles. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you have. All of us through life who have struggles with what's happening, you know, is to live in the moments, right? And really having a good cause in mind, a worthy cause in mind, something which is going to be greater than yourself is going to help you to push forward. Really, really, really important. That definitely, yeah. Then Andre, I'm born in June 23rd. Today is my birthday, actually, you know? So thank you. What a birthday. Thank you so much. Share a beautiful experience with you. This is my gift to you. Thank you so much. And you're my gift to me. So thank you. So anyway, I'm born in June 23rd in 1986 in Cherbourg, Normandy. So over there, you know, there's not a lot of like people diverse, not a lot of like African descendants. So mostly Caucasian white people there. And I used to go to school there. And when it was really hard, you know, because obviously I'm not fully black, but back in those times, you know, like I'm the black guy and I was in the class and teacher used to be a lot of racism on me. I didn't understand why. I was angry. I remember I was 7 years old. One day I snapped. I think I took my desk and I threw it because of anger, rage, you know. And after, you know, I started to be victimization because back in immigration, back in the days, you know, there were a lot of people from Africa, but also from Morocco, like, so, you know, colored people and stuff. So we formed like a little gang, a lot of stuff, being together, and, you know, they just try to say sort of like F the police or throwing rocks or burning stuff, or I did some stuff. I don't want to go into much details here, but that's why I said when I was a little punk, I was a little brat, you know? But yeah, that was complicated. Then after a while, you know, one of my brother here got into trouble, you know, my brother's here. But you see his face, like he's not the kind of guy you wanna mess with, you know. René is doing really good, though. I'm really happy for him. And so yeah, so got into trouble with some of my older brothers. So my father got really scared, you know, as well. He got scared, got a bit out of hands. So when I was 10 years old, I got in a foster home, you know, because that was just getting out of control and stuff. Yeah, and definitely things go hard, and I was in school, and even teacher, you know, not really good. And I started selling weed when I was 13 years old. That wasn't really weed anyway. That was herbs. You know, but it is what it is. But it was going too far. So actually, my brothers, you know, they went to prison, and my father was like, no, that's going too far. And my father proposed me. I went to Cameroon before, you know, you cannot see me here. This is my dad, this is back home, this is all my cousins. And behind me with the guy with the hat, that's me. No? Yes, you know. That when I was in Cameroon in 92, you know, so that's good. But anyway, yeah, so my parents proposed me, you know, it would be good that if you go to, definitely if you go to Africa, to see the culture a little bit. I mean, I was there on vacation, but a little more, you know, that was like, okay, sure, why not? And actually, before I went there, 1 year and a half before I went there, my father, because of the distress, in 1997, he had a stroke. At 11 years old, I saw my dad falling in front of me, like falling, like he thought he was gonna die. You know, he entered a coma. His eyes start to, you know, aneurysm, right? His eyes start turning. He started to urinate on himself, and I was like crying. I was screaming to my sister. Testing was upstairs. Come down, daddy's dying, and I was in, you know, so a lot of, you know, was a bit like felt left alone. My father was in the hospital for a bit, and then definitely, you know, I went to school, starting to be a bit more messy, and then after I went to the foster home before, then after my sister went there, then after we came out of here because we said it wasn't really like a good place, so we got there in 1997, 26th of December 1997 is when my father had a stroke. So yeah, that was really hard. Then after with my mother, they were talking. They're like, well, why not if my brother was at the time was wild, and also you know, my sister was a bit wild too, and it was like with Andre, me, definitely, you know, we should do something about it. something about it. So they asked me, Andre, we believe your mom and I have been discussing, it will be good if you go to Cameroon, not for vacation, you're gonna go there for a little while, you know? So it was like, okay. Because after at the end of the day, I was like, what can be worse, right? I mean, it's back home, it's not, I'm not going to hell either. Even if I was, it was a bit hell, because sometimes, believe me, over there was really hard. As a Western kids going to Africa, was really definitely hard. But I remember the day that I wanted to go there, that a few days before I ran away from the house. And I was, I don't want to go there. But you know, a lot of social workers tried to come by my house back then too. It's a bit mixed. But they were like, they tried to take me away from my family for good. But in my head, I was like 12 and a half at the time, like my daughter's age right now. And I was like, if I don't go to Cameroon, I'm going to kill my dad. When I mean killing my dad, because of the stress, because also he already had aneurysm, and also from his work, not being a victim, but that's a fact. He suffers from racism from his employers. His employer used to send him, because he was a qualified welder in a nuclear power plant. So his employer used to send him like freaking 600 miles away from the family. So imagine, you got to do like back and forth every weekend, like freaking like 1,200 miles. And you go home, everybody's screaming at home. My brothers, they're like baking mess and stuff. So after a while, the head went like, you know. So I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? Like we say, choices. You have the free agency to have choices, but you don't have the agency to choose the consequences. So when you choose something, it's either going to be not so good or good, right? So I decided that, you know what, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there because definitely, you know, it's good. So I went there. But when I got there, I see that there was hard because I'm not fully black either. So I'm like, what am I? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I belong in this world, right? So it was really very, very hard. And I went to school there, and over there, believe me, it's not like people were hard there. You gotta be tough there. It was really hard. I used to wash my clothes on my own and everything. So it was definitely, it was hard, you know? So I was like, okay, then it is what it is. But after a while, you know, it got too hard, and I started to feel a bit depressed, and I started smoking weed. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but I became starting really, really bad. You know, I hang out with the wrong crowd over there, and yeah, I got really with the wrong crowd. And then I remember that after a while, I didn't even know where I belong anymore. So I start to scarify myself, you know, because in my head it was a real mess, you know. And I remember even one day, there's a guys there was a bit like a slap in the head, be like, buddy, if you want to kill yourself, just do it. Just, you know, just don't cry. And I was like, okay, you know, oh, please help me be a victim. And, you know, just choose to, it was a bit hard, to be honest with you, but it was a big wake-up call. Then after, I remember being after 1.5 years in Cameroon, I went to France, you know, for a couple of times at the time there. My brother came out of prison. And it was like, Andre, like I was, you know, I'm happy with girls, I smoke weed, and it was like, what are you doing, man? You know, it was like, what are you doing? So it gave me a little wake up call. Of course, I had the choice to do something about it. Then after, it's just in my head, like, you should start doing push-ups, because when my brother was in prison, did a lot of workout and stuff, and you start doing push-up, because also I was a sprinter. I'm a former sprinter. And yeah, then it's stuck in my head. It was the New Year's Eve 2000 to 2001. So all the stuff he said for like Christmas break got in my head, and I went back to Cameroon, and I was doing sprinting at the time, but I started working out. I started doing push-ups. Let me tell you, I did millions of push-ups. You know, I did like, it was even on the heat over there, it might be like, it's not much, but every night I start to do 100 push-ups in 10 sets of 10. Then after I did 10 sets of 20, then of 30, then of things, and more and more and more, I did a lot. So anyway, afterwards, in my record of push-up, actually, I did 1,650 push-ups in 55 minutes. And you know what? I did it in Calgary. Can you believe that? In West Hills, actually, not too far. So yeah, so a lot of things. So afterwards, you know, I went to the States, because I'm LDS, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Then my parents, because in France, you were like, after a while in Cameroon, I was like, I learned my lesson. I don't want to go back there other times. You know, it's okay. And I think I did my time. You know, I mean, yeah. So they sent me in Salt Lake City, because back in France, there were a lot of missionaries who served the mission, right, from here or from North America to Europe. and my parents kept in contact with him, with their family, like, oh, would you mind if we could send Andre in Salt Lake City in Utah for 2 months? I'm like, what can be worse, you know? So I went to America, I went to Salt Lake City, couldn't speak English. I was like, you know? I remember like the flight I flew from like Africa, no, like I flew from France, no, from Cameroon all the way to Paris. So it was a bit, because at the time also I didn't tell you in English, I was suck. I had like F grades, really bad, you know, like I remember like the teacher used to be in exam, who is a John? I was like, I'm 13 years old. She's like, what? You know? So anyway, so I remember the first part of the trip going from Cameroon to France was French-speaking people, so it was okay. Then the second length of the trip, I was getting more nervous because it was from Paris to Atlanta in Georgia, right? So, and it was like, people speak English and in French. I was like, and after, I remember I have to cross the customs on my own in what's called in Atlanta, and I couldn't speak English. I was, and when you don't know speak a language in a country, believe me, you sweat. It's a bit uncomfortable. So I passed it. Then I remember even the last part of the trip from Atlanta to Salt Lake City. Nobody speaks French, right? So I see the flight attendant coming to me, and she go with drinks, and I'm in my head. I'm like, oh, I'm 13. I was like, how do you say? How can I get a Sprite? So I want a Sprite, and she blah blah blah. No, Sprite. That's it, So that's what it is. So a lot of things happened then. A lot of things. And afterwards, a lot of years went by. Then after, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Then I went to England. I'm fast forwarding a little bit. Then yes. So then I decided then to start to do extreme challenges. Before that, I became a personal trainer in England. That's also have my daughter now, Ramona, over there, and a stepfather. So I'm really grateful right now that she's doing great. We're keeping a really good contact. For me, it's the most important things. So in 2013, after I became my personal trainer, I moved to Switzerland, right? And I was happy. I helped a lot of people. Like people like Andre is a great trainer and everything. And I traveled a bit too. I went to Kuwait. Also work in the Middle East. It was great there. And I work on cruise ship events. So literally, I went around the world, right? So then after a while, this is good, but I wanted to do something more. Also something because I did some wrong choices before, and also to prove to myself that I can do better. And as well, definitely to prove to the world, or to people I did wrong, that everybody has a second chance and people can change. That's where the worthy cause came in, right? So in 2017, I decided that I was going to start training. I thought about it before, but in 2017, that's when I started training for my first race, which when I ran from France to Africa. You can see me over there, right? So literally that race, I trained for what? I trained for 11 months. My training with this, I was like probably 91 kilogram in the times. So I lost like close to like 12 or 13 kg, I believe. I'm not a long distance runner. You can see how I'm built, right? I was more like a sprinter. But I'm like, then I start training a little bit by little bit. So what I was doing, I was running literally bit by bit, 3 times a week, doing like 45 kilometers, 3 times a week, 45 minutes every week, right? Definitely helped me. 1 month later, I increased the bar to 2.5 hours. 2 months later, I did a marathons. The time was awful, 42 kilometers, but I did it in like 5 hours and 20 minutes. I was running like this, but it's to show you the power of the mind. 1 month later, 62 kilometers. Another month later, 110 kilometers. Another month later, 250 kilometers. Several months later, I ran for like literally for 7 hours straight, no break. My head was used to hurt so bad, but definitely this would happen. Then after I got ready from La Migrante and I was ready, then on the 10th of March, 2018, I started running from Cherbourg, I don't know if you can see really well, but like France, all the way there, all the way across Spain, all the way across the Rocky Mountain, no, not yet, all the way across in the northern Morocco. So the race was, like I said again, it was 77 marathons in a row with a 20-pound backpack. That is ridiculous, right? You remember one day I used to run and I fell sick and I asked to stop for that day. I remember I had to run for like 46 kilometers. After 200 meters, literally, I was like, I'm sick. I'm like, it was too much because I remember when I left Cherbourg, it was like 10, 15 degrees. And when you get to southern France, the weather's starting to get a little more dry and a little nicer. And early April was above 20. So I caught the flu or something. Then after I was laying down on the bench here, almost like really tired, our friend come to pick me up. Then definitely, then I took a few days. Then later down the line, I also was with my backpack, right? I mean, with my backpack still, like 20, fluctuated between 15 to 20 pounds. When I was in like north of Barcelona, like literally, like my back, like was rubbing my skin, friction, and I bled. I was bleeding. I run away slave. That was really hard, So definitely I had to take like 4 days break. And even then, I have to start again because I took too much time off, and I'm gonna be thrown too much of course. Even before this, I remember that I had like my Achilles tendons, like literally running through the French Pyrenees. Then, like when I go to the French Pyrenees for a while, like my Achilles tendons, my right foot, I couldn't it was really sore, and I thought that my tendons were going to snap. So it was like, worst come to worst, if the race stop here, I already across the entire country and what it is. But I don't know how I manage it with the worthy cause. I did it thinking about my father who sacrificed to go, from France all the way, from Africa all the way to France, and also for all the refugees, right? Definitely, I thought about, that's why, I'm like, I got to do this. Let me tell you, at time it wasn't easy at all. Like I just explained you, one day I was crying, I was screaming. It was pretty awful. And even like when I go to Morocco, then I was running in the dark because like it was past past mid-June, and the weather, was getting really hot. So I had to work in the dark. And when you cross that like the Gibraltar Strait, more in Europe, it's no Western countries, huh? It's Africa, huh? So it's a bit more wild and everything. So I remember a bit of wild dog were chasing me and everything. You run in the dark. At one like 2 a.m. I start running in big trees, and you're running, and you always that fear, and like you have forest, you can cross a forest, and I tried to grab my water, and I got a bit paranoid because I looked behind me, and I'm like, is someone's gonna try to get me? Your mind, you make movies in your head that after everything is fine. When you see the dawn, because when the sunrise, you're happy. So I did this. So then after I did another race. It's called over here. Sorry, I don't know how. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Then after I did another race, it was called Andre Run USA. So I still wanted to pay tributes also to my father, but also definitely to all refugees, children refugees, and also to pioneers, American pioneers. People went out west, as you can see here. So really that race was like I said again, like 111 marathons in 4 months, in a week. Was affiliated with USA for UNHCR. Running through Wyoming, lots of hard time, was very, very, very hard, but definitely lots of support. So I was really grateful and happy about it, right? So on the way there is something that I learned definitely is to like, there's no perfect moment in life to do something, right? And that's actually one of the first points, something like that you can write down if you want, or write down on your phone or whatever that you can use in your life, is that there is no perfect time to chase your worthy cause, right? There is no perfect time to start something in life. Because if you wait for the perfect time to start something in life, well, guess what? That perfect day will never come, right? You should start with what you have. And that's what I did. I started with what I have, right? So I remember that before, like, I studied that race, between this race, I'm going a little backwards, between this race and the first race, I was like, should I run across the stage? Should I yes? Should I do? Should I no? But I decided to do it, right? Definitely. So by the end of 2018, I decided that no matter what, 11 months later, on the 1st November of 2019, you're going to start running across America, either with sponsors or not. And that's what happened. Not only at the time, I was in France. My friends definitely here. They're like, our friends in Switzerland. He told me at the time, you should come to Geneva in Switzerland, because over there you have a lot of headquarters, like NPOs, like you have United Nations there. like in New York, United Nations, World Health Organization, a lot of things like that. And he had a lot of contacts. So he told me, come over here, let's see what we can do. So that's what happened. So we had a meeting with another organization for migrants. That meeting didn't go well. But after that meeting, we went through USA not USA, UNHCR, because it's in Europe. And we just literally knock on the door. And the person of that office was an intern. He was like, sorry guys, because he was like close to noon, close to go eat lunch. But sorry, you know what? It's 11:55. I gotta go lunch. And then we were like, please, sir, if you just give us a few minutes of your time, we will explain you. Right? So he agreed with this. So we told him what I did, running after from France to Africa. So whatever, he was like, what? Interesting. And we explained him what I wanted to do from New York to Los Angeles. So he was like, oh, I like your ideas, I like your experience. This is very good. However, what I can do right now, I cannot do this side, nothing. Then what he did, he told us, send us, I'm talking about me and my agents, send us all the documents that you have, and I'm going to forward that to DC or New York. So in our head, we're like, maybe it will work, maybe it won't work. But guess what? A week later or something, I had at the time the director of the fundraiser marketing of USA for UNHCR. So like, I love your project. Let's have an interview. Let's see what we can do. We had an interview for 45 minutes, and she's like, Andre, USA for UNHCR is going to back you up, and we just signed a contract with them. So we're really happy, you see. What I'm telling you this, because there's no perfect time to chase worthy cause. There's no perfect time to do nothing, to do something in life. No, to do nothing, yeah. There's a time, right? But you know what I mean? So that's what he decided. So it's very, that's what you do. You can start something out of nothing, starting from scratch, literally, right? Like, we have to, stop giving ourselves excuses that definitely we cannot do this or we cannot do that, right? So that's what happened. Anyway, I was really happy. Signed a contract. I got lawyers involved through my friends. So, a little team here. But at the time, I was living across the States, like a few days before, I go to New York. I had a GoFundMe. It was fine. I had $4,000 on a GoFundMe. I was happy, but however, it's not enough because I was going to go through, not through the southern states, through the northern states. And let me tell you, going through Wyoming to the Continental Divide in February, a lot of pioneers, what they did, it's death. So I was running there, people told me it's good, it's good what you're doing, but why not you go through Oklahoma and in eastern Texas? I was like, no. I'm determined. The pioneers did it. I'm gonna do it. God's gonna provide the way. It was really a bit suicidal, So definitely, one day I gave a speech when I was in Kansas, in Topeka. I gave a speech in a congregation there, and at the end of the speech there, there's a couple who approached me, and the man of the couple was like, "Well, Andre, our Midwestern mentality cannot let you go out there because you're gonna die there. It's like Alaska. It's death." So he told me, at least I'm going to be your chase vehicle until you go past the Rocky Mountains, at least past Salt Lake City, because the elevation is lower, it's colder, it's a bit warmer. So, but actually, he went with me all the way. And when we passed the Continental Divide in Wyoming, it was like, man, I got to see the race. So originally, that race, I went through Salt Lake City all the way to Phoenix, then Phoenix all the way across not across the border, the border, through, to LA. And he told me, Andre, I would love to go with you, but however, he had time, he had to go back to his wife and his family, right? Because we had been away for 2-3 months. So told me what we're gonna do from his wife. I don't involving couple disputes here. So he told me, I can help you, however, we're gonna have to work on the route. So I was like, that's fine, I can cut through Las Vegas. And he told me to, and I was waiting, he was a former bounty hunter. He told me, Andre, near the border in Arizona and Mexico, you can have a bit of cartel stuff like that. And I was a bit worried, but I was like, whatever. But anyway, he had a lot of experience. So he was a former bounty hunter. So I'm like, you better listen to what he had to say. And he told me incredible stories too. He went to school with Robin Williams in California, right? So he used to tell me great stories. And he's actually the one who helped me design this a bit, calling Chase what it costs. So anyway, I got to New York. This is great. So all the equivalent of all people help, because we see a lot of host families and his personal help. It's like what they received the help of over $100,000 because of a worthy cause, because I started from nothing, because of a good cause in mind, because you believe that happened, right? So that's what I really want to tell you, that the worthy cause it really helped to push forward. And that's why right now I'm pushing more with the ice bath for record. At the beginning of my life, beginning of my daughter's life, it was different. Like we said, every human being can change, and we can have a second chance. It was hard, difficult with her mother, with baby's mother, but right now we really get along. I pay child support every month, and I'm really happy. I'm telling you those things because I'm not ashamed, because we need to change, right? So I'm not ashamed to say that at all. So I'm really happy how a person can change. Even what a great talk today, which I'm really really grateful for it. And I wanted to, and my daughter, close to like 7 or 8, we discovered that she had autism spectrum. She was on a spectrum, and like the doctor said, yeah, that's serious. Wasn't serious because on the autism spectrum, we have a lot of spectrum. They're really high or really low, right? So it's a bit low, but still, like you see at school, she doesn't have no filter. I think it's good to not have filter because we live in a world where it's really sometimes they'd be, oh, how are you? So it's like she's that filter. So I like that. And he taught me a lot. She taught me also lots of things, right? Then I wanted to do a record for her. The time was to raise funds for her, but we discovered that in England that she can have the receive grant from the government. So this year I wanted to do something. Then when I came here not last winter, but of last year, my friend here, grade 7s, we met through when I was on the news there. Then we helped to work through this project together. Let me tell you, it wasn't easy. I said I'm going to do the world record at the end of 2022, then 2023, then 2024. Then we're supposed to do it in 24th of February. The ice box wasn't even built. I go to the airport. I look, lady, how are we going to do like the ice box? Like, well, okay, then we'll see. Right? He's laughing because he knows what it is. Then we're supposed to do the record in 9th of March, but we decided to postpone it. And so I was like, again, I have to go back to Europe. And the 24th of May, that's what finally we did the record. So to the record, right, it was the longest full body contact with ice, right? So I stayed for 4 hours and 5 minutes. Yeah, thank you for my daughter, for Kira, also affiliated with Autism Canada, and also with Run Calgary and the Stamping Ground, and also I did it too, because I really wanted to definitely show that everything's possible. As you can see here, I also got inspired a lot by a movie called, I don't know if you heard about the movie, I'm sure you did, Cool Running. Yeah, man. Sanka, you're dead. Yeah, man, So for me, also when I was younger, back in the days, when I was even my daughter's age, right now, even younger than this, I'm like, you see a couple of guys in Jamaica, again, the worthy cause, right? Nobody believes them, even if they're like, dude, guys, stop it. You don't have snow in Jamaica. They go ask for sponsors, and people, they go laughed at, whatever, and they did what they got to do. And, they did, and they came to Canada in 1988, and they didn't win. But they got selected for the next few Olympic Winter Games. But the moral of the story is not about winning, because anyway in life you always have someone's going to be stronger than you. That's just life. The world record that I did 4 hours and 5 minutes, I'm sure that a few months down the line someone else is going to do more. And I got interviewed a lot. Oh, you got a world record? You don't worry that someone else is going to do more one day? I'm like, no, it's just the rule of the game. It's like it's because that personal glory, of course, is good to have a bit of personal glory. We all have, let's be obvious. Come on, that's what motivates us, Going to the gym looking big, it's like, hey, it's fun, right? But it shouldn't be the main issue, like the worthy cause for doing that for higher cause, higher power. That's what should guide you. And that's what I did it. And I was really happy that even like this year, I got in the official bobsleigh of those things. So, they were a bit like my mentors going that official bobsleigh over there. So I was really, really happy. As you can see here too, that one when I was in the test run, I was scary because I never did like 2 hours. So I'm like, I go to Calgary, it was on the 9th of, one second. It was like the 9th of March. No, it's the 9th of May. And 2 days later, even with the jet lag, I have to do 2 hours in 2,000 pounds of ice. So we're like, okay, that's going to be fun, right? But I did it anyway. Then 2 weeks later, 13 days later, we did the world record. So yeah, so just to show you that the worthy cause, is really, really, really important. And without a worthy cause, of course it's really important, but you might be like, okay, good, worthy cause is good, but how can I have it? What I mean by this is that all of us here, like I said at the beginning, we all have different talents. All of us, writers, professional fighters, like singers, politics, whatever it is, whatever you have a gift, singing or counselors, right? That it's all inside us. It just really, sometimes we kind of hard time finding it, but definitely having those talents plus having a good cause in mind, right? If you put those two together, it's like an equation, you're gonna achieve the extraordinary. That's why you're gonna have a mindset of steals. That's why you're gonna be unstoppable, and you're gonna do your best. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much like the end of the speech here. So if you have any questions right now, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
All right, very cool. What a story.
Yeah, and of course, for the question, also on the 13th of July, we'll do a workshop here, Achieve the Extraordinary, a bit more in detail about the mindset coaching, breath work, because also the breath in our life, stress can be hard. So breath work, so mindset coaching, breath work, and also nice bath on the 13th of
July.
Yeah, in collaboration with the Light Cellar. So please check that on the website as well. Yeah, not for 4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
For 30 seconds or 1 minute and a half or whatever it is, or just for the experience.
Yeah. Cool.
Or even if you put your foot in your toes or whatever, just whatever with your mindset. Yeah, sorry. For sure.
It keeps driving you, whether it's like breath work or something like supplement related that keeps you like having that energy.
The energy, you mean like the physical energy or just the both? Well, like I said, worthy cause, I believe I'm not here to impose my ideas, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus Christ, but also I believe in like higher power. And I believe that what's important in this earth, it's going to be, because one day we're all going to die. Doesn't matter if you're millionaire, billionaires or whatever, right? But really what helps me to keep on driving forward is to do my best with the talent which has been blessed with. Apparently to do extreme sports, because I'm going to do also another world record in January. Stay tuned by this. But yes, definitely that the pleasure of helping others, the pleasure of inspiring others is really what keep me going. I mean, like a hurricane or like a tornado in a positive way, though. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I thought it was dead a bit. But I was in the angels, in the atmosphere. But it took me an hour to recover, close to 3 hours and 40 minutes. My head was really. It's like I said, it's like I was in a swing, because that cold. After a while, I mean, you start to fail. If you stay forever, you'll die, right? Because you're a human being. But I feel like the cold here, it unbalanced my impairments in my ears, and it's like my body was going like this. So it was really hard. So that's why at 4 minutes, 4 hours and 5 minutes, I decided to start. When I got out of that, I could even my hip flexors were tight because so much carbon dioxide, and I was. I did it, but I was a bit I couldn't walk. I was twitching a bit. It was a bit scary when you see stuff like that, right? But a paramedic were there, but it took me a good hour. And I did a lot of laughing gas too. You're welcome. Yeah, in my heart, for the last 30 minutes, he stayed for 160. So it was, because I was fighting now. I was, like I said, I wanted to do 4 hours and 15 minutes. So I could have done 4 hours and 30 minutes. But you know what? And I felt I'm not the strongest. I'm not the hardest. It's always if you go to Asia, if you go in the Shaolin temple, Shaolin monks, they stay 5,000 meters meditating for 8 hours. So it's the things about the drive and what it costs, right? And so it took me an hour. And also I couldn't sit, but my kidneys were touched a bit. My kidneys inside my shoulders. I was for 5 days. Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit painful. Yeah. Well, yeah, well, I said I knew when I was going to 4 hours and 40, 4 hours and 3 hours and 3 hours and 50 minutes. I told you, right, Grady, it's I'm just gonna do a few more minutes and then we'll stop, So I didn't want to push it more because also something really important. We have our ego, we also have a heart. Your ego can kill you. You know what I mean? So listen to, it's good to have beer both in balance, but it's definitely good to have in that situation your heart controlling your ego, right? So my heart told me, stop. If you do this, then do this, but I'm not here anymore, you know? What, you're on your own, right? So yeah. Of course. No, really, you're really good. Yeah, really good question because you know after reading across, after reading, yeah, well, you know, like after I ran across the states, like you know, in life you have injustice. You know, I used to work. I'll go in details, but not too much. I used to work in Switzerland. After reading across America, I also thought that I'm going to get myself known to get my business more known, everything. So I moved to Switzerland in Zermatt. Do you know Zermatt? You know, it's really rich there. In my head, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hire there. So I have the vision. Wow, perfect vision. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna bring a lot of clients, a lot of rich clients. We're gonna go to the Matterhorn. And I'm gonna do conferences and stuff. So I explained that with the owner, and at first they were okay, and after it became you know funny cuckoo, it didn't work, and I even got laid off. I got fired. So I was in a foreign place, you know, because Swiss Germany. I mean Swiss. I mean like Schweizerdeutsch. They're really in the mountains. I'm not a victim, whatever, but it is what it is. They're really close. They're between themselves. So I feel like a foreigner there, and I fell into depression. It was really scary, you know. So definitely, I heard about like Wim Hof method. That after I do my own method now too, that I start doing like breathing, and I'm like, hold on, man. If you did a run across the states, what the heck is this to go to an ice bath? So I started to do an ice bath. You know, I was swimming like really like the mind is so strong for 15 minutes. Well, 15 seconds. Then after I push it more and more. But yeah, I studied off. I'm not an instructor, but I studied a method and made my own experience. Yeah. Good. Thank you so much. Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Thank
That's
you.
great. Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming. Yeah, it's been a great day. And, yeah, if there's any more questions for Andre, please go ahead.
You taking, giving autographs?